What's up everyone, Mo here. Today we're going to make pad thai. This is one of my all-time favorite dishes and it's a lot easier than most of you think. This is something you can easily add to your day-to-day life and make it weekly at home. Anyways, let's get started. So these are called rice stick noodles. It doesn't matter which ones you buy. There's lots of shapes, there's lots of sizes, lots of styles. Just buy the one you like. Now, there's some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. Cut them into about 3 to 5 inch pieces, or you can leave them long. It's up to you. Basically, they're hard when you get them, but when you let them in hot water for about 10 to 15 minutes, they just rehydrate. They're not already cooked. They just rehydrate. They're basically going to be kind of al dente. You'll know the feel, basically, when they're ready. Now, I did this step ahead of time, but really, when they're hard, just toss them in, and then as they're just, getting softer and absorbing the liquid, you can prep everything else. Then they'll be ready in time. So this is why when you go to a restaurant, you get your pad thai so quickly. Everything is pre-prepped. All you got to do is put it together when you're frying, which will take less than 10 minutes. I've got some Thai chili peppers. You can use dry ones. You can use anything you want. You can use jalapenos. If you don't like it that much, then you can use paprika. But this is really the biggest difference between something from Thailand and something from North America is the spice level. Otherwise, I've got minced garlic, peanuts, whole peanuts, and shredded peanuts, which are really good to use. Bean sprouts, an egg, shredded carrots for garnish, green onions or scallions, but I would like to have more than that if I could, which I don't. Another good thing is salted cabbage or Asian dried shrimp. You can find both of those in an Asian store. If you don't have it, doesn't matter. Okay, next up we're going to make the sauce. Unfortunately, I have to do it this way. This is called tamarind paste. Throw it in some hot water, okay, then take it off the heat, stir it around, move it around, play with it. Just let it be like this for maybe 6 to 10 minutes. If you want, you can also do this in the microwave. Just heat up the water in a cup, toss in your tamarind, and then there you go. It'll do the magic. As you can see, it's already breaking down and making the sauce. Take it off the heat, go on to the next step. Now, I have enough of the sour flavor from the tamarind, but I like adding a bit of lime to it. I'm going to add the zest of a lime and the juice of half a lime. See, that's the zest. It's the green part. That basically has the lime flavor, but none of the acid. But I am going to add some acid anyways from the lime, just for some more flavor. Now I'm going to add some fish sauce. This smells nasty, but when it cooks, trust me, it really does a good job with the flavor. Okay, so next up, I'm going to add palm sugar. This is very nice and sweet. You can find it in most mega marts and some Asian markets. If you don't have it, you can use white sugar and you can definitely use brown sugar. So don't worry. There you go, just kind of mix it in roughly. Now once you're happy with it, the next step is the tamarind. So let's get a strainer, as you can see. There we go, it got all the water and the flavor. Now that's what's left of it, so you want to get a spoon and just kind of mash it around. Okay, most of it will go in, but there's going to be little parts that don't go in. Get rid of them because they are not edible in any way. There. Now mix it up and you've just made pad thai sauce. Guess what? You want to make 4 or 5 times this amount. Keep it in a squeeze bottle, keep it in a container. That way it'll always be ready. Otherwise, you can just make it every single time. Now here's some chicken I just cut up. Now some people like to marinate it overnight with some soy sauce or teriyaki, some fish sauce. Just make a little sauce mixture and leave it in. I didn't do it. I didn't want to this time. Sometimes you do. I'm also going to use some salt and pepper just to season it very basically. It'll absorb some of the sauce in the pan. I apologize for this shot. It doesn't look too great, but I was under a time constraint. So anyways, let's just keep going from here. So here's my wok. You don't need one. I just happen to have one. It looks better for YouTube anyways. Any straight-sided pan or even a saute pan will work. It's been hot for about 10 minutes on very high heat. Putting in my oil. Groundnut or peanut oil works best because they're very neutral. Don't use olive oil, it's too strong. But even vegetable oil, canola oil, they will work too. So it's really hot. You saw the oil expanded very easily. Now make sure everything is ready because there's no stopping. So let's get started. So first off, in goes my garlic. The order doesn't matter majorly all the time, but some order is good. I'm going to stir it for maybe 30 seconds and that'll do the job. Okay, that's good. Next up, let's throw in your chilies. Maybe just another 15 to 30 seconds. Don't go very near these things because you don't want to breathe these in. There we go. Now, I should have added my egg in here now, but I kind of forgot it. So we're going to add that later. But again, add your egg in it now. Pop both of the yolks. And just leave it alone for 30 seconds to a minute. And then you can swirl it around and kind of scramble it. Okay, so next up, toss in your protein. Again, in our case, it's chicken. You could have shrimp, tofu, beef. You could have a mixture. It doesn't matter. Toss it in. Give it a shake. Now this part will obviously take a bit longer. We are cooking meat. Since they're small, they might cook in maybe 2 to 4 minutes. You can take one out and cut it in half and check, but if it's not all the way cooked, it'll finish cooking in the sauce. That's how I like to do mine, but if you want to be safer about it, just finish cooking it all the way before you introduce any sauce. Next up, you want to toss in your peanuts. This might take a minute, 2 minutes, depending on how much you want to toast them. So people just add them and then go from here, but if you want to toast them a little bit, go ahead. If they're already toasted, don't worry. Whatever you do, make sure that don't over toast them. If any of them are burned, try to remove them because it can really ruin the batch. Now I'm going to add maybe half my bean sprouts just to give it a little bit of a toast. Careful because they scorch easily. You don't have to add them now, you can add them later. These are kind of more flexible the way you want to add them. Just maybe in 15 to 20 seconds and that's about it. Now you want to add your noodles just like that, and maybe just give the pan a bit of a toss. I mean, some people add the noodles and the sauce right away. I like to give it a toss, make sure all the ingredients are with each other and coated. Maybe cook the noodles for 20 seconds and then add the sauce. There we go. Let's add the sauce, and now we toss and coat, keeping it on the highest setting. That way it cooks properly and everything gets coated. And maybe want to stir it around if you can. Now this is really optional, but I'm going to add a bit of a handful of some of the grated peanuts, the carrots, and some of the green onions right now. And don't worry about always making the recipe the same. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes I want to put some onions and saute them until they're brown in this. Sometimes I add tomato paste. I'll add other veggies. Sometimes I'll put some yams in here. Everybody has their own recipe, guys. Every cook, every chef, every mom, every dad, every dog, every cat, every hamster has their own pad thai recipe. Don't try to be Mr. Authentic. Just remember, you're trying to make your dinner for the night, not trying to win some award. Remember, different recipe, different time. Now, after about 30 seconds of sauteing everything, this is when I realized I forgot to add in my egg. So I thought, should I do it with or without? And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to bravely do it now, even though this probably is a bad idea, but it actually worked out pretty nicely. Now, I would like to have two, but I only have the one, and I have to notice I dropped a shell in there. Just try to fish it out. There we go. Now, crack the yolk, and let it just chill out. People stir it right away. No, you want to kind of make it like an omelet in a way. Just let it chill out, move everything aside if you can. There we go. Then after like a minute, just stir it around and combine everything. And then you can pretty much saute for 15 more seconds and you're good to go. Now the finishing touches. This is more for presentation. I'm going to plate it with some limes because we all love them. And I'm going to plate it with some bean sprouts for the texture. They're very good when they're raw on this. Now here's a trick I learned from a little Thai restaurant by my house that doesn't even have 10 tables. Top it with a lot of peanuts. Not only does that a lot of crunch, it really does a nice job with the texture. You're going to want to do a lot. Just don't even measure it, just keep going until you're happy with it. As for the carrots, I learned that from a restaurant called the Stuffed Zucchini when I was working in Lucan. They add a lot of nice bright colors, and so do the green lines and the brown peanuts, and the texture is great, and so is the taste. Anyway guys, that's my pad thai recipe. Hope you all enjoyed it. Trust me, you need to give this a try. I guarantee it'll easily become a regular dish around your household. You don't have to go all out. Sometimes if you just want Asian noodles and sauce like you get at a regular store, it could be in a mall food court or a little Asian vendor, just, you know, saute some onions and garlic, toss your noodles, toss the sauce, and then you're done. You don't have to go all pad thai out. This is just a simple stir fry. Check out my website, guys, for all the full recipes and everything. And as always, enjoy.